Guess you guys have been waiting long enough. 2 days and some change. Meh, wake me up when he puts a twink ass. How do you know Gracie Bond's not a twink, dude? How do you know? You don't know what's what. All right? Hello, Chi J. Hello, human. I imagine TJ shredding Scotty on a drum kit and Paul eating a Baconator. Yeah. Looking rough as fuck. Well, I don't know. It's because this fucking hair doesn't ever want to do what I want. I don't know if I should like try to be like spiky with it or if I should try to tame it somehow. I don't know. Plus, I don't have eyebrows now. How you feeling? Feeling all right. Yesterday I was super tired. Today I'm a little tired still, but not too tired to do this. TJ, when will I receive my trans girl BBL fund allotment? I'm working on it, you know? And by working on it, I mean I've thought of the idea and done nothing since then. But who knows, you know? Maybe I'll take it to the next level one of these days. Go for the classic early 2000s spiky look. Yeah, I mean, I've given it a shot here and there. What is this? Nope. TJ ain't got no motherfucking eyebrows. No more. No more. TJ ain't got no motherfucking eyebrow. No more. No more. How y'all doing? How are my little humanoids? Humanoid phenomenon. Took an edible. Good. Maybe you'll see Jesus. How long do eyebrows take to grow back? I don't know. When does the Christian TJ grift arc start? Tomorrow. 8/7 Central. Eyebrows burned off in a cooking accident. Yep. I cooked them off. I also took an edible. A lot of people taking edibles tonight. I have been better. I've been so much worse. Well, at least you're not at your worst, right? That's a, like, solace, I guess. Dabs. TJ, how does one proposition you for a rim job? I don't know. I guess just like ask or whatever. I had a good day, oddly enough. Enough. Why is there two enoughs? I want to know why there's two enoughs. Will we ever see more cooking with TJ? I mean, anything's possible, right? What's this like sparkle I keep catching here? You guys seeing this sparkle on my fucking face? I think I got it. I don't want no fucking sparkles, bro. I don't want no motherfucking sparkle. I got sick earlier, went to urgent care, but fever broke and tests were all negative, so I looked like a dumbass. Well, you know, c'est la vie. I took a rip of crack. Edibles are for nerds. Good on you, James. Take it to the next level. Jesus is the sane being as Yahweh from the Old Testament and therefore created earth and weed. Sure, buddy, sure. Why not? Today on Cooking with TJ, we're going to cook some meth. We're going to make some crystal fucking meth, you guys. It's going to be great. Careful with French accent, you'll summon La French. Maybe. I don't think you can summon him here. Less of a dumbass than those people who die at home because they are fine. Yeah, that's true. I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm all good. Who's your Jesse in that shit situation? Jesus ate my ass. You guys. Oh, you guys. You guys are nuts, man. That's why I love you. DoorDash. Dashing through the doors. These Christians and their newfangled man God are preposterous. When's the last time we gave thanks to Nin's son for delivering unto us great Gilgamesh, 2/3 God and 1/3 man? I don't know. That's how Jim Henson died. I'm fine. This blood I'm coughing up is nothing. I didn't know. I didn't know that's how Jim Henson died. Yeah, speaking of death, R.I.P. Toby Keith, man. 62-year-old Toby Keith. I don't remember a fucking thing he sang, but I know that he was a country legend. So, you know, he's gonna be missed, especially among my crowd. I know I've got a lot of people in my audience that love country music, so I'm sure you're all very distraught. But, you know, somehow, you know, we persist, right? Yeah, dude, Toby Keith. R.I.P. Toby Keith. Bluegrass is the shit. I don't think Toby Keith made bluegrass, though, so it's kind of a moot point, right? What was Toby Keith's big hit? Wasn't he the guy that after 9/11 he was like, "We'll put a boot in your ass" or whatever the fuck, you know? Wasn't he that guy? Hold on, I'm gonna find this son of a bitch. Official website of Toby Keith. Does it not even mention he's dead? Oh, okay, it does. It says he passed peacefully. What did he die of again? Cancer or AIDS? Why is he dead? I got a friend. Oh yeah, it was cancer. I know, I'm starting to sing Garth Brooks because the only country song I know. I got friends in low places. I'm pretty sure that's Garth Brooks. All right, here's Toby Keith's YouTube channel. What's his most popular video? Yeah, that's what I want to know. As good as I once was. What is that? Hold on, maybe I'll recognize it.
Rodeo. I'll put a big Texas smile on your face.
That chick's got a deep voice, Toby. I think she might be trans. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but maybe, maybe you should steer clear. I know you country boys don't like that usually. At least not openly. So she sounds very masculine is what I'm saying. Could just be, one of those chicks that has a deep voice though. That doesn't sound familiar. But I guess that's his most popular song. He's also got I Love This Bar. Let's see. Let's hear some of that. We can only play like a few seconds if we want to avoid like getting copyright shit.
I love this bar.
All right. I don't know what I expected. It's just literally the fucking title of the song. First thing I hear. I love this bar. He sounds like it too. He does sound authentically drunk as he's singing. That's good. I'm glad he loves that bar. What else is this? How do you like me now?
Now, how do you like me now?
Now that I am dead, how do you like me now? Cancer ate my head. How do you like me now? I'm 6 feet in the ground. How do you like me now that I cannot make a sound? I don't know. I guess you're fine. Is that? Whoa, oops. Is that turtleneck? Is that country? It don't look that country to me, Like, is a turtleneck sweater fucking country? Because doesn't seem all that country. But good for him, man, Toby Keith. I'm not a fan of his music, but I'm a fan of how he's dead, That's good. Good career move for him. Probably going to see a big old spike in record sales too, Now that he's dead. Because, now all the controversies and whatever else, that's all done. That's all over with. Now he's dead. Now he can have whatever opinion anyone wants, That's good. How do you like me now that I am dead? I like you just fine, Tobe. He's in a better place now. Yep. Hell. Which is probably an upgrade at this point. He's Beverly Hills country. He's a Beverly Hillbilly. Now that he's dead, he's a Beverly Hellbilly. TJ, I had a dream that you and Chelsea had a really bad divorce, and then I was sleeping in my bed at night, and when I turned around, she was staring at me through my window. Yeah, Chelsea's like she's like a horror movie monster, you know? She fucking stalks you through your windows and shit. He's in the gay bar in the sky now, singing, I love this bar. Man. He's in the big gay bar in the sky now. Good for him. I don't believe people go to hell. Good for you, Spino. Just cherry pick that theology, buddy. One of those Christians that just picks and chooses what you like and what you don't like. Even though Jesus fucking literally mentions hell like fucking 2,000 times in the Bible. Nope. You know better. You know better about your own religion. You know better about your religion than the fucking literal founder of it, for sure. I buy it. I believe it. I'm down with it. Sounds reasonable. All dogs go to heaven and all people go to hell. Everyone goes to hell anyway. I think everyone goes to hell, personally. I think every single fucking, that's my theology. Every single motherfucker goes to hell. Good people, hell. Bad people, hell. Medium people, hell. Everyone's in hell. No matter how nice you were, no matter how righteous you were, no one's good enough to go to heaven, so we all just burn forever in hell. Screaming and suffering and... My church teaches that. Well, my church teaches you all go to hell. Especially the people in your church. They go to the deepest, fucking darkest, most flaming level of hell. Where they suffer the worst of all. That's what I believe. That's my faith. It gives me comfort. We already died. This is hell. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe. We're all going to party down in hell. It's going to be great. Even Jesus is down in hell, burning. Even he wasn't good enough. He's down there right now, roasting in the flames. So we're going to Mississippi? Yeah, I mean, why not? I got friends in low places. For some reason, that's the country song stuck in my head right now. A song I'm pretty sure Toby Keith did not sing. But whatever. Toby Keith is burning in hell. Toby Keith is burning so well. Toby Keith, he's kindling now. Toby Keith, he's roasting like a cow. Roast Keith, dude. Garth Brooks sung it. Yep. I think I knew that. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Barth Brooks, dude. Yeah, Garth Brooks, who's still alive. He outlasted Toby Keith. I don't know how old Garth Brooks is. Let's see. He is... No. Oh, he's also 62. They're the same age. Toby Keith, Garth Brooks, same age. But you know what? Garth Brooks keeps on chugging. Toby Keith fucking dead. The Archangel Michael defeated Satan in his dragon form in the book of Revelation. Yeah, says you. Isn't the book of Revelation supposed to be like prophecies of the future? I mean, consider the fucking source, you know? It's not exactly, you know, some kind of fucking big deal for a side to predict its own victory. Every fucking side predicts its own victory. So what? The book that God wrote says God's gonna win? Okay. My money is on Team Satan, personally. Go, Satan, go. Inspector Satan. I didn't know Satan had a dragon form. Oh, yeah. It's fucking DBZ up in the fucking Bible, dude. What the Archangel Michael didn't know is that Satan was only using 1% of his true fucking power in that form, you know? That was only the first dragon form. He's got several more dragon forms, you know, ready to go. So, you know, the Archangel Michael has got his work cut out for him. Get back to me when Christians can cast smite. God is omnipotent and all-knowing, though. Yeah, I mean, once again, according to him. I mean, who? This is like when Kanye West calls himself the greatest genius of all time. You know, are you just going to trust the fucking source on everything? Like God doesn't have a reason to fucking lie and exaggerate, you know? All I'm saying is if God was all-knowing and all-seeing and all-wise, you would expect the fucking universe to be a little bit more fucking not a piece of shit than it is. I mean, there's a lot of problems. You know what I mean? A lot of fucking babies born with deformities. All the fucking planets are way too fucking far apart. You know, there's a lot of problems with this universe. I give it like a 4 out of 10. If God is all-knowing, then why did they not have an answer for goat versus fish? I mean, has God made his choice? I think God has made his choice, actually, because, you know, Satan is pretty clearly associated with goats and fish are pretty clearly associated with Jesus, so God chose fish. But, you know, that sucks. I'm all about goat. Fish can go fuck itself. TJ is saying God is an unreliable narrator. Right, you know? It's like one of these dumbasses that reads Lolita and is like fucking thinks you can take fucking Humbert or whatever at his word, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, you know, she seduced him, you know, according to him. It's like, come on. You can't just... Obviously, God is a biased source. So, like, come on. I've also seen God fucking... you know, ask for some crazy shit of people. I mean, what's with that one part? If God is really all-knowing, how come he didn't fucking already know what the deal was with Sodom and Gomorrah? Why do you have to send fucking agents down to figure out the fucking score? And what was with all that negotiating? Like, would you spare the city but for 40 righteous men? Oh, well, I guess. What about 30? It's like, wouldn't God already know the exact number of fucking righteous men and exactly what to fucking do and exactly what's going on? But no. There's a whole fucking story about that shit. So there you go. Satan is associated with goats. We also know Satan is a deceiver, so maybe secret fish. Oh, yeah, that's true. But once again, we only know that Satan is the deceiver from God, so... Satan's not going around. I mean, think about this. The one story that we really get to fucking see Satan shine in the Bible, if you believe that Satan is the fucking talking serpent, which, most people, I think, go with that interpretation. Satan tells the truth about what the fruit will do. He's like, oh, no, it's not going to kill it. Because God was like, don't eat that fruit or it's going to kill you. And Satan's like, no, it won't. It'll just give you knowledge of good and evil. And they ate the fruit, and what did it do? Gave them knowledge of good and evil, didn't fucking kill them at all. So how is Satan the fucking deceiver? Satan's the one that told the fucking truth in the damn story. So I think God is the fucking deceiver, if anything. I mean, that's my fucking interpretation. So as far as I'm concerned, even if all this shit were anything more than just like mythological stories, Spinos chose the wrong fucking team. Lucifer is canonically a twink. Yes, truth. That is true. You speak the truth. He did. He already knew he would smite those cities. Well, then he would just wasted a bunch of fucking time. Like, what was with all the fucking hullabaloo then? Why send angels to fucking ascertain the situation? Why fucking negotiate with fucking Abraham? Will you spare the city for the sake of this or that? Like, what was the point of all the fucking hullabaloo and bullshit and intelligence gathering if the motherfucker already knew exactly what was going to happen? Sounds like he's just a time-wasting nitwit in that case. Children automatically go to heaven. Didn't you say everyone goes to heaven? You already said everyone goes to heaven. Or at least no one goes to hell. I don't know. Maybe you believe in like a purgatory thing like old school Catholics used to. And why? What about evil children? What about like a kid that fucking murders his parents or something? They just go right to heaven because they're a kid? God's like, yeah, well, you are a kid, so here you go. Don't make a whole lot of sense, man. And again, religion never does. He's testing them. Yeah, he's always doing that, huh? God's always testing us. That fucking prick. So you can make the covenant with Abraham. Oh, yeah, of course. How to make that covenant. I thought there's no hell was a Jewish thing. I don't know exactly what the Jewish theology is about that. I think the Jews had some sort of, they had like a precursor to hell that was sort of like, you're just dead, Like the people who... Like, you just die, like you actually do, like you're just dead. You're not, like, going anywhere. But the good people are going to go to heaven one day. Because I think in, like, Jewish theology and a lot of Christian theologies, like, everyone's just dead until, like, Jesus comes back and raises the dead, and then everyone goes to heaven. Or at least the good people do. I don't know. It changes based on who you're talking to. Everyone's got their own stupid version of this fucking story. That's why it's kind of hard to criticize Christianity in terms of its mythology, because, what you say about one branch isn't true of another. Was that the time he was instructed to kill his son as a burnt offering, or was that something else I'm thinking of? I think the whole Abraham negotiating for the lives of the citizens of Sodom and Gomorrah was after the whole Isaac thing, but I could be wrong. It could have been before. I'm not 100% sure on that. How can hell both be dark and also all fire? Well, the fire of hell is dark fire, you know. Fire as black as 1,000 midnights. It's a place of burning darkness where no light can escape. And you just burn forever and suffer and writhe and kick and scream and go, ah! Forever and ever. I don't like the description of children as pure and innocent. They're undeveloped, untrained proto-humans. Yeah, and quite sociopathic, too, if you really look at, like, children's behaviors. They're not, like, sweet, natured, you know, by and large. Hellfire is blue. It's the lake of burning sulfur, and sulfur burns a deep blue. Well, it does on Earth. But in the hell dimension, it burns black. And it gives off no light because hell is dark. Dark and miserable. Stephen King thinks hell is a cold and lonely place. It's so cold and lonely. Yeah, that's always kind of trolled me about Stephen King. Like, he's a brilliant writer, but he actually does believe in, like, heaven and hell and, like, God and all that bullshit. And it's just like, how does someone intelligent enough to write this many books believe in such, like, ridiculous, superstitious nonsense? Like, I can understand how an idiot like Spino believes in it, but I really don't get how, like, an intelligent person of accomplishment can possibly believe that nonsense. Imagine if we had a pantheon instead of this lame monotheism stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, at least if we're gonna be religious, we should at least have, like, a cool pantheon of gods. Like the Greeks or the Romans or the Celts or, you know, any of these old school religions, right? You know, and every deity has like a specialty. You know, one rules the sea, one rules the air, one rules the crops. You know, they all got a branch. And now, you know, they try to turn into this big mono god that just runs the whole shebang. And you see how incompetent he is. I think we need to go back to the old ways. We need to go back to giving each god has a specialty. Now, the Catholics, they kind of try to cheat it by giving, like, well, God's the, you know, he's the branch manager, but, like, he's got all these different little saints and stuff that run the shit. So I guess there's that. Yeah, the Egyptians, they got some cool gods. The what are those other ones? The Vikings, you know, they had some cool gods. We need sexier gods. That's true. You know, and like a lot of the old school gods were sexy. They were fucking human beings all the time and stuff. The Bible's not as sexy. I mean, there's a few sexy parts of the Bible. Like the creation of the Nephilim and shit. Angels coming down and fucking having sex with mortal women and creating giants. I mean, that's pretty cool. Hindu gods are crazy. You know, I don't really know much about Hindu theology or anything, so I'll have to take your word for that. Pretty telling that bearded Thunder Man is a pretty common archetype in a lot of religions. Well, yeah, I mean, like a wizened old figure fucking sitting on a throne on high, casting down fucking what to the ancient, you know, people were probably the most terrifying fucking displays of power in the natural world. You know. Shiva goes hard, man. Isn't Shiva like the goddess of destruction or the god of destruction or kind of the androgynous being of destruction or whatever? I got friends in low place. R.I.P. Garth Brooks. Rest in peace, you old son of a bitch. Someone make me an R.I.P. Garth Brooks thing. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. Yeah, it's lost its luster over time, for sure. Yeah, you gotta fucking imagine that godussy, dude. That's true. I mean, that shit's probably, I mean, that shit probably hits pretty good, right? Get up to heaven and God's like, you were good. Now you get to hit the godussy. It's like, wow. And if you make me come, you can stay in heaven. But if you don't, you're going to hell. And now here's your new spiritual penis. The purer and more beautiful you were in life, the larger it is. Oh shit. And that's how you will be judged. If you can clap God's cheeks to his satisfaction, you will be led into heaven. But if you cannot, you will be cast down with the reprobates in the pits of hell. It's no good. You gotta be careful about that shit, man. You know, it's like a hard world. Yeah, there we go. Be like, fucking going to hell, man. Jesus does have great abs, though. I don't know. Every fucking painting I've ever seen of Jesus, he looks pretty emaciated. I've never really seen too many buff Jesuses unless they're like someone's making a meme, you know? I got gods in low places. Tenacious D has made it known that Satan is definitely a power top. I mean, if you needed Tenacious D to know that shit, like, come on. Like, who didn't know that? Would you rather, you want to get fucked by buff Jesus? Would you rather get fucked by buff Jesus or fucking clap God's butt cheeks or get fucked by Satan? That's the real question. When you get to heaven, they ask you that question. If you give the wrong answer, you're going to hell. You know, you gotta answer right. Don't take that question lightly. It will decide your eternal fate. St. Peter's going to read that shit to you. And if you get the wrong answer, you're hellbound. I don't make the rules. I just tell them to you. Depends. Is God Gracie Bond? Well, no. Gracie Bond is Gracie Bond. Don't denigrate her by comparing her to a mere, I don't know, to God. One answer is implicitly going to hell anyway, right? I mean, we never specified the location where Satan would fuck you in the ass. He might be staying up in heaven. You know, he might be staying at the fucking Holiday Inn Express up in heaven that week. And maybe he's going to fuck you there. You don't know. It's never explicitly said, get fucked in the ass by Satan in hell. Like, he travels, okay? He's not just down there all the time. He gets around. He's not so boring. He's just like a homebody, okay? Like, come on. Let's fucking know our theology here, people. The idea of that heaven has a Holiday Inn Express is deeply disturbing. Why? You know, Holiday Inn Express is everywhere. Why wouldn't there be why would there not be a Holiday Inn Express in fucking heaven? That's what I want to know. Like, Satan doesn't need some highfalutin shit. He doesn't need no Four Seasons. He's all right at the Holiday Inn Express in heaven. It's really nice. Do you believe Palestine will be free in the next 10 years? I don't even know if Palestine will exist in the next 10 years. At this rate, I'm thinking Israel might just fucking totally wipe those people off the face of the earth, and we just, You know, the most we can do is just fucking feel bad. Like, oh man, remember when there used to be Palestinians? That was crazy. Like, why hate on the Holiday Inn Express, though? Doesn't make any sense. I never wake up early enough for those free breakfasts at those hotels, you know? Even when I do, they always suck anyway. Like, I've never had, like, a hotel breakfast where I was like, ooh, wow, man, they really pulled out all the stops. It's always some nasty shit. Like, the best you can really do is just get the, like, pre-made shit, like maybe a bagel you'd be all right with, or maybe, like, a yogurt cup. But, you know, like, if they got something like eggs or something, it's going to be that nasty-ass powdered eggs. If they got a waffle maker, fucking just steer clear of that shit. It's not going to be any good. Embassy Suites has really good breakfast. I don't know if I've ever stayed at Embassy Suites, so maybe you're telling me the truth. I don't know. Having no experience of my own to draw from on that, I'm just going to have to take your word for it. I got friends in low play. R.I.P. Garth Brooks, you guys. R.I.P. Garth Brooks. I'm going to miss that son of a bitch. He was a wily one, you know? Yeah, those fuckers, they really fucking cut you off the hotel breakfast fucking early, you know? 9:30, 9 o'clock. Sometimes they'll run it till 10, you know? Man, I don't know. I don't get up that early. Fuck you. I mean, like, if you're, like, at a super nice hotel and they actually have, like, a real restaurant in there, you might be able to get a decent breakfast. But that free continental breakfast in that weird little nook where they're always playing Fox News or something, you know, that's never any good. Got some stale cereal. What if we want breakfast at 12? God damn it. Yeah, I mean, like, at least serve it till 2. Serve breakfast till 2 p.m. You know? That's all I ask. Is that so much to ask? And checkout at these motherfucking places is also way too early, you know? A lot of these places, like, 10:30 checkout. Like, motherfucker. Fuck you. Give me some time. I can't get up and packed and out at fucking 10:30. Checkout should be like, I don't know, 3. You know? At least split the difference with me and make it noon. I hate them eggs. I mean, I don't even like fucking good eggs at this point because they give me gas, but I definitely don't like no nasty ass powdered eggs. Like, oh, just add fucking water to this and it'll be eggs. It's like, no, it won't. It'll be some rubbery fucking cement shit. Get breakfast at IHOP, sir. Yeah, maybe, you know? I mean, I'm not the biggest IHOP fan in the world, but it is better than fucking that free continental breakfast at most hotels I've been to, so there's at least that. Actual cement probably tastes better. Maybe. No, Waffle House. Hell yeah. Well, a lot of times, you know, if I'm staying in a hotel and I want to go out and get breakfast somewhere, my wife's like, "No, they got it free here." It's like, yeah, it's free here, but it fucking sucks. Like, so what if it's free? It's gross. Like, if it was free and like decent, that'd be one thing, but it's free and gross. I'd rather pay for something good than fucking just have something free and gross. But whatever. So one of those microwavable breakfast sandwiches and I'll be happy. I mean, like literally a microwavable like Jimmy Dean's breakfast sandwich is not the greatest fucking thing in the world, but it's better than most of the shit you can get in those fucking continental breakfasts or whatever at the hotel. Last place we stayed at a waffle maker, you could just use your own whim. Yeah, I mean, those are hit and miss. It's not like the waffle maker that's the problem. It's the fucking batter they give you that's the problem. Because sometimes they got pretty decent like waffle batter or whatever, and you can make a nice little waffle. Other times they got some bland ass shit. And then when you want the fucking syrup, all they got is these little fucking tiny packs of syrup. You got to open like 10 of them just to fucking have enough syrup to cover the fucking waffle. And it's never real fucking maple syrup or anything. It's that fucking Aunt Jemima shit. Although they don't call it that anymore. But it's not even that. Even back when they did call it that, it would be like, you know, some horse shit brand of fucking fake syrup you've never heard of. Like Uncle Davy's fucking syrup adventure bullshit. Fuck that. Trash. Fucking trash. Hate it. The batter dispensers at this motel I stayed at I'll never get a McGriddle. I see some people praising the McGriddle in here. I don't have no problem with the McGriddle. It's fine. It tastes fine. But I'll never be able to fucking, I mean, I'm too keen on those fucking biscuits that they have there. I'll never be able to fucking turn down a McDonald's biscuit, so. They don't do Aunt Jemima anymore. No, because it was like deemed racist or whatever. So now they've changed it to like Pearl Milling Company or some bullshit. It's really weird because like Miss Buttersworth wasn't deemed racist against white people or anything, you know? So, is this live? No. This is pre-recorded. As you can tell by me responding to the chat and stuff. I just knew what everyone was going to say because I'm that fucking good. And you guys are just that fucking predictable. So, yeah, that's what's going on. You're a biscuit man. Fuck yeah. I love a fucking biscuit. McGriddle is nasty. All right. Yeah, they changed. It's not Aunt Jemima anymore. It's fucking, they got rid of the character. They got rid of the shit. Now it's Pearl Milling Company or something. I don't know. It doesn't even sound like a fucking syrup company anymore. Yeah. Here, I'll show you. Oh, fuck you, New York Times, you piece of shit. I got friends in low places. Poor Garth Brooks, dude. May he rest in peace. Here we go. Yeah, that's what this is it. Pearl Milling Company. Since 1889. Well, no Pearl Milling Company. You were not since fucking 1889. You don't just get to seamlessly take over the continuity, all right? You were Aunt Jemima back in 1889. Now you're a totally different company. You got to fucking start over. You got to be like since 2021 or whatever fucking year it was. You don't get to just fucking take over. You know? That's how I feel. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I feel personally like it tasted better back when it was Aunt Jemima. I don't eat that shit anyway. I'm not a fan. I know some people like that fake syrup, that fakel syrup. I don't fuck with that. I only fucking consume genuine, actual maple fucking syrup that comes from the fucking maple tree and is way thicker and way fucking sweeter and way more delicious than that fucking high fructose corn syrup fucking pseudo maple trash that they fucking peddle in the form of these garbage ass fucking low tier pseudo syrups. Fuck that shit. Fuck Pearl Milling Company. Fuck Mrs. Buttersworth. Fuck all that other horse shit. No. Don't want it. Don't need it. At least come up with a new mascot. I always thought they should have fucking just like, you know, instead of making her Aunt Jemima, because that's a sound like ain't your mama, right? Like she ain't your mama, right? She's your mammy, right? She's like the fucking stereotypical black mammy that's gonna fucking, she gonna fix you some eggs, sugar, you know, like that shit. So I understand, you know, you want to move past that or whatever, but like, yeah, you know what they should have done? Fucking Wanda Sykes pancakes. Just have Wanda Sykes loud ass on there in a business suit. You know? I don't know. Something. Yeah, President Jemima, you know? There you go. Fucking elect Aunt Jemima president. President Jemima fucking syrup. There you go. Now it's not offensive because she's an aspirational figure, you know? She ain't just a mammy. She's the president of the United States. She's President Mammy. TJ probably had a black mammy growing up. I kind of did, honestly. They should have held a funeral for Jemima and had a mock passing of the torch to her woke niece. Niece Natanda? What? Why Natanda? I'm just here for the memes. Well, that sucks because I'm not doing them this week. I didn't pull any right. I looked at them. I looked at the right-wing memes on offer, and they were too shit tier even for me to make fun of. I was like, man, this is trash. We're going to wait. Supposedly her family was pissed. She thought of it as her legacy. I don't think there was no actual Aunt Jemima, so there was no family to get pissed. There's no, it was literally a play on words. There's no actual like person that it's based on. I don't think. I'm pretty sure there's not, but whatever. For the record, lots of intelligent people. Oh, I guess the record has been expunged because he fucking took it back. Teacher, this new site says picking your nose causes Alzheimer's. Have you heard about this? No. There was an actress who played her. Okay, well, so what? That actress is mad. The family of the actress that played her in a TV commercial is mad or something. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Correlation doesn't equal causation, yeah. we're going to watch a video here. This is by a YouTuber called Adam Mockler, young YouTuber who went out and interviewed some Trumpies. And we're going to take a look and see what's going on here. This was one submitted by one of you guys. So let's take a look. And the first thing I want to say that I instantly noticed is how bad of a job this woman did on this eye makeup. Like, there's so much space between the edge of her eye and, like, where she lined out, you know? Like, just don't bother at that point. Like, look at all that space. It just looks very awkward.
Does it ever worry you guys when every single person and every single institution in America is against you, and the only person you can look up to is Donald Trump?
That's not happening. It's not.
You don't trust
Okay.
the FBI or the DOJ?
Look at that fake laugh. This one starts fake laughing, and then this one starts fake laughing. But look at her eyes. Look at the torture and anguish in this woman's eyes as she fucking starts doing this fake laugh. Looking to her friend for approval and shit, too. And it's like, you just said, whatever. Here we go.
Are you kidding?
Ladies, this is a gotcha interview they're trying to...
Wait, this is a gotcha interview. Don't talk to this guy. This is one of his gotcha interviews. Did the term gotcha interview originate with Sarah Palin, or was that a thing before? Because I never remember hearing the term gotcha interview before Sarah Palin started using it. And, you know, like the stuff that she considered gotcha questions were so, like, she was just asked the most simple questions, just like, what magazines do you read? And she's just like, that's a gotcha question. It's like, no, it's not. It's really fucking not. Anybody running for office. In fact, anybody in general should be able to answer. Like, even if you don't read at all, just be like, I don't really read, you know, newspapers and magazines, actually. You know, I get my news from, you know, this or that or some other source.
Make you look like idiots.
It's pretty clear what we're doing here. We're having like an exchange of ideas.
I felt like I had a staunch liberal interviewing me.
Yeah, okay, we'll end it right here.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I only saw one question before she said that. I don't know what was asked before that. So maybe there were some staunch liberal questions before, but, you know, based on what I saw, it didn't really seem all that staunch liberal, but whatever.
Here, but
So this Trump supporter stopped our debate, followed us around, and then told security we were harassing people. Watch what happens next.
so when it comes to election integrity, what is your strongest piece of evidence the last election was stolen?
I did work the election.
Yeah, me too.
Iowa wasn't too bad, but when I went home and I watched the 2020 election, I was on Fox.
Well, when I saw that Trump lost, I realized the election was stolen because there's no way he could have lost because everyone loves him so much.
I'm not now, but I was then. I watched, and it wasn't the presidential race, and I saw the votes flip. I saw the votes flip from the Republican to the Democrat.
Dude, this was like discussed beforehand, too. This concept of the red mirage that was going to happen because the in-person voters were going to be predominantly Republican because Trump was out there telling his people, don't vote, don't use the mail-in, don't use the mail-in ballots, they're no good, they're bad, very bad, show up in person to vote. And so the people who actually showed up to vote were all, I mean, not all Trump supporters, but a lot more skewed towards Trump. And those results came in first. And then when the mail-in stuff started getting counted, it was fucking skewed for Biden because Biden had encouraged his people to vote by mail. And so there was, and it was a predicted phenomenon. It wasn't like this fucking came out of left field and shocked people. It was predicted that this was going to happen. And it was predicted exactly how Trump was going to spin the narrative of it. And, you know, here we are, years and years later, still listening to the narrative being spun that way. And it's like the explanation is so fucking easy to understand. And these people just refuse to understand it because they don't care to. They don't actually want to understand what happened. They only want to formulate some narrative wherein Trump was cheated out of his rightful victory, despite the fact that court after court after court after court, many of them Trump-appointed judges, have looked at this evidence and have roundly laughed it out of the fucking courts because there is no evidence. There's no evidence whatsoever that the 2020 election was stolen. And I don't know. Like, if there was evidence, then one of these Trump-appointed judges would have seized upon it and been like, holy shit, this is a huge deal. They stole the fucking election. And that would be enormous. That would be an enormous revelation. I don't even think most people who say it's stolen really believe it's stolen. I think for them, it's just a form of cope and a form of them backing up each other's narratives, kind of like the same way religious people do with religion, you know. I saw an angel. Oh, I see it too, you know.
So I saw it.
How confused do you think this lady gets by football games? Because she doesn't seem to understand how counting anything works. If I pause a football game during the first quarter, then come back to a different score during the fourth quarter, that doesn't mean the game was rigged.
That convinced
Doesn't it, though? I think it means exactly that, young man.
me.
Video evidence too. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got suitcases being pulled out from under
Yeah.
after all of the poll watchers left and feeding ballots in. I mean, it's just
What? You know what's so funny about that? I know we all saw recently in the, I think it was the Iowa results, that there was in like a predominantly white, predominantly Trump sort of setting. It was it was Republican primary, so of course it was a predominantly Trump setting. They were just like throwing the ballots in a fucking paper bag, you know? Like a dude was just going around with a paper bag collecting people's ballots, and it's like, these people have been bitching about election integrity for the last 3 years. Talking about, oh man, all these crazy shenanigans going on. But then they do something like just go around and collect ballots in a freaking paper bag held by some fucking doddering old man. And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Oh, I guess it's fine when it's a bunch of white people voting for Trump. Then that's secure enough. But if that was like black people voting for Biden in the general election, they would be like, oh my God, there is no integrity to our elections. Ah.
and there's so much more.
So how
What are these haircuts? I have no room to talk right now because my shit's fucked up, but whatever. It's just got to grow out a little more.
do you guys react when Trump brought all of these cases to different courts across America, and every single court that he brought his evidence to rejected him? So he even brought that case where they pulled a suitcase out from under the table, and when they took that to the court, when they watched all 16 hours of that footage, they realized that the Democrat and the Republican poll workers, because you work the polls, right? You know how Democrats and Republicans have to combine and they have to work together. They realized that these were placed there this morning and they were completely legitimate ballots. And this happened with over 60 different court cases where you think you have this 10-second snippet and you think it's the evidence, but then you bring it in and it's not. So what is that? How do you reconcile that?
Oh no. I don't want to watch this woman's head explode. I wonder what she's going to say. I mean, it's going to be, she's going to do a little tap dance, right? Like the only thing she can really do is a little fucking because like there's not much you can really say there. I mean, look at her face. She's just like, I don't know what. All right, let's hear it.
I don't know a whole lot about what they brought in court.
Yeah.
Then shut the fuck up, bitch. Then shut up. If you don't know jack shit about what you're talking about, then don't fucking talk no more. Zip the lip, lock the lock, throw the fucking key in the trash, and let's not hear no more from you. Like you're going to go out there and say confidently the election was stolen. And then when there's the slightest, tiniest little bit of pushback to that, you're just like, I don't know nothing about that. It's like, huh? Are you fucking serious? You don't? Maybe you should. If you're going to make a bold declaration like, hey, the 2020 election was stolen. Sorry, my fucking feet are getting tangled up in wires down here. Get away from me. If you're going to make a bold declaration, like that, you should probably have, I don't know, some facts fucking straight, right? Like just a few little facts straight maybe, so you actually can, when someone asks you a very simple basic question like that, you can say, well, actually, and then have like a real answer. Even if it's going to be a bullshit answer, even if it's going to be sophistry, at least have something other than just like, I don't know. Fuck if I know, man. I don't know. All right.
I know, that's okay.
It was kind of kept quiet.
Yeah.
Just
It was kept quiet? No, it really wasn't fucking kept quiet. It was kind of a big story. It was kind of being covered, I don't know, fucking everywhere.
just know that everything was rejected, but I think a lot of the reason, at least what was reported, was that they didn't get to present the evidence.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what happened.
So this lady
They did present the evidence. What do you mean they didn't get to present the evidence? They did. They showed the evidence to the courts. The courts are like, this isn't evidence. We reject this. Like, I don't know what more you want. The court's just supposed to be like, oh, wow, yeah, this is really good stuff. And just lie and say like, oh, man, yeah. This is the smoking gun.
just stumbled her way into my least favorite talking point. Out of the 60 plus cases that Trump brought to court, 30 of them didn't even meet the standards to proceed with the court hearing, and the judge's job is to look at the evidence provided, not to investigate, and there was no evidence.
Sometimes my concern is that when everyone that was...
Yeah, and of course, the judge looks at the evidence and says, there's no evidence here, there's not enough to even go further in this proceeding. And the Trumpists, or the, you know, whatever, the Trumpies, the MAGAs, the Chudleys, whatever you want to call them, they just declare based on that, oh, well, we weren't allowed to present our evidence. Like, you weren't allowed to present your evidence because you didn't have any. You weren't allowed to present your evidence because you didn't have a case, and it was summarily just looked at like, nah, this is trash. There's nothing here. There's nothing to proceed with.
Was in Trump's cabinet, people like Mike Pence, people like Rudy Giuliani, they even said to him, there's not enough voter fraud to overturn the election. And then after the election, Trump brings this to courts, and all the courts reject him. They did look at the evidence, they looked at all the footage and all the evidence. So sometimes, do you ever keep an open mind to the election not being stolen?
That never even has occurred to me because I saw too much stuff.
So it's never occurred.
What did you see? You saw too much stuff? Like, let's be real. What she means by she saw too much stuff is it didn't go her way. Trump didn't win, and so therefore it was stolen. That's as far as it really goes for this chick. It doesn't go any further than that. She doesn't need anything more than that. The fact that Trump didn't win is enough for her to declare that it was all a hoax, it was all a cheat, it was all a swindle. Because in any fair election, Trump would have, of course, won because everyone loves Trump, I guess. Even though considerable amounts of the population freaking hate Trump's guts. Even though there's tons of Americans that hate Trump, that think Trump's a nitwit, that thinks he's a moron, that thinks he's a loudmouth, bloviating dumbass, that thinks he's a dementia-addled orange retard. Even though there's tons of Americans that believe that, Trump just could not possibly lose. These MAGA people, they just live inside the MAGA bubble where they are the majority, despite overwhelming evidence they are not the majority, despite every poll showing they're not the majority. They just think they are the vast majority of the country, and everyone who's outside of their little bubble is just like this weird fringe person that is not reflective of anything in reality. And they are the true Americans, and everyone who's not in with them is a fake American, and they don't really count, and their votes really shouldn't count because they hate America or whatever. Whatever logic they apply to it. And it just gets fucking absurd.
Encourage you to keep an open mind?
No, it's never occurred to me that there wasn't a lot of hanky-panky going on.
Interesting.
That's what I believe.
Could you?
We keep an open mind. I mean, if we see the evidence that everything was on the up and up, well, then you can't argue with that.
How do I argue with the fact that there's hanky-panky on the up and up?
Well, also.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, guys, I mean, I talked a lot of shit earlier, but I wasn't aware that she was going to bring up the hanky-panky that went down. You know, there wasn't a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff wasn't on the up and up, you guys. There was a lot of hanky-panky. So, look, I didn't know she was a legal expert of that caliber that was going to, you know, put forth those advanced arguments. And I feel like I kind of painted myself into a corner now because I didn't know that she was going to bring up the hanky-panky. Now that I do know that, I see that I really am out of my depth here and I shouldn't have even attempted to tackle this because clearly this woman knows exactly what she's talking about. So we got to be careful proceeding. You know, I got to be very, very, reserved with my declarations, and I don't want to say anything that could possibly be misinterpreted because we're dealing with some advanced high-level arguments now.
So what they're accusing him of is trying to plant fake slates of electors in a few different states. So like Georgia, they're saying he tried to replace the real electors with fake electors. And then there's also a phone call that you can listen to of him calling Raffensperger, the Secretary of State.
The electors, that is a normal procedure. If you think that something is going to be proved, that there was riffraff in there.
Oh my God, the riff-raff argument, dude. I mean, guys, should I tap out? Because, hanky-panky, riff-raff, they're bringing the fucking big guns out there now. Like, they're destroying this lib cuck, you know what I mean? Like, I was on this dude's side when he was winning the debate, but I didn't, they were just going easy on him. They were toying with the kid. But now they're bringing out the heavy-hitting fucking stuff, And
it turns out the other way. You have to have electors in place, ready to go if that should happen. That's all he did.
That is not all Trump did, and nothing about it was a normal procedure. Just look at the coup memos crafted by John Eastman, which laid out a roadmap for Mike Pence to...
Look, dude, nice cope, but you were destroyed, okay? Like, come on. Just... settle down. She verbally destroyed you, dude. You think some kind of fucking memos documenting whatever that's gonna stand up in court when she stands up, but she's like, "But Your Honor, hanky panky, up and up, riff raff." The judge is gonna be like, "I find in favor of Donald Trump and declare him president for life."
Throw out the results of the election. Donald Trump pressured Mike Pence into doing this, but Pence refused.
Do you guys trust Mike Pence at all? Even Mike Pence told them there's not enough evidence.
I don't trust Mike Pence.
You don't trust Mike Pence? Okay.
No.
Even his attorney general, Bill Barr, who was his sword and shield, came out saying there's not enough evidence for it. You don't trust Bill Barr?
No.
You don't trust the FBI or the DOJ? Does it ever worry you guys when every single person in every single institution...
Here's the thing that's crazy. These people think Trump is the ultimate leader, and yet so many of the people that Trump appointed, they have no confidence in. They don't trust Mike Pence, but Donald Trump literally had Mike Pence as his vice president, which is like, hey, if anything happens to me, you're in good hands with this guy. So... at that point, even if you think Trump is great, you'd have to admit he's a terrible judge of character, right? Because he kept putting people in positions of power that later went on to betray him by daring to tell the truth.
Institution in America is against you, and the only person you can look up to is Donald Trump.
That's not happening.
It's not.
There are tons of... You look at Trump
Like who else?
ratings.
Like Mike Lindell? Who else? I'm saying, who do you get?
Not Rudy.
Rudy Giuliani is...
I'm not keeping track of every elected official and whether they support Trump or not.
See, this is my problem.
I feel like you... Well, if you're not doing that, it's just because you're too lazy to do that. Because I feel like there definitely is a Trump purity test with you people. Considering that you just said that you don't fucking trust Mike Pence, you don't trust. By the way, I don't trust him either. But I don't trust him because he's a right-wing fucking nut. Just like I don't trust Trump for that reason.
You look at Rudy Giuliani as a trusted source of information, but then when you have...
Let me tell you about Mike Pence. You said
Jesus was a poor judge of character for associating with Judas. I mean, yeah. Especially being a supposedly omnipotent God being. You'd think he would not hang around with some backstabber that would fucking, betray him for a few fucking shillings or whatever.
say he's credible?
Yeah.
Okay, when he was governor in Indiana.
I'm from Indiana. I don't think he's always.
Yeah, so he flipped on the religious freedoms for business owners.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I'm no fan of Mike Pence, but in my view, what happened on January 6th, Donald Trump asked Mike Pence to stop the peaceful transfer of power, right? He asked him to not certify the results on January 6th.
He asked him to take the states that said that they think that there is a problem, they want time to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He asked him to give them time to check it out.
They did. This is after all of the court cases that were rejected
They
repeatedly. Yeah.
They didn't check out anything. No. He just went ahead and certified it, regardless of what corruption was being shown out there.
Ladies, this is a gotcha interview. They're trying to make you look like idiots.
Oh, don't worry. This guy doesn't have to lift a finger to make these bitches look like idiots. All he has to do is ask a few very pertinent questions and maybe throw in an occasional little factoid for them, and they'll do the rest themselves. All this kid has to do, I keep calling him a kid. He's not a kid, but whatever. I'm old enough to fucking get away with it at this point. This kid just has to throw these bitches some rope, and they will start fucking building a noose and gallows to hang themselves with. He doesn't have to do much to make these women look like idiots, okay? It's pretty... They're doing a fine job all on their own.
We're having a real conversation about the election fraud.
It's very slanted. It's
very
not,
liberal.
It's not a neutral one.
Yeah, but we're literally sitting here having an exchange of ideas, which is one of the best parts of America, is that two people from...
Yeah, play the patriotism card on them. That might have worked a few years ago when these people actually gave a shit about America, but nowadays they just care about Trump. They don't really give a fuck about anything beyond Trump. It doesn't go any further than that. They don't want a better America for themselves. They don't want a better America for anyone else. They just want Trump because he's their new Christ. Somehow.
Different sides can talk to each other and try to reach a middle ground. It's pretty clear what we're doing here. We're having an exchange of ideas. I don't think I'm trying to get you.
It's pretty clear where you're coming from.
In an interview, when you want somebody...
So what? Well, it's pretty clear where you're coming from, You're trying to have your own opinions and stuff, and we don't cotton to that around these parts, so hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Are you fucking are you Christians in my chat seriously talking about Jesus and shit right now? Can you do me a favor and go away? Or just stop talking about that just because I threw it. Just because that idiot you know what? Frosty Chicken, you're a piece of shit. You're off my fucking shit. Get out of here forever. I've never seen you say anything of value. And now you've totally derailed the chat, getting Spino talking about Jesus. And Spino, you're timed out. In fact, you're timed out for the next 24 hours so you don't interfere anymore with your Christian garbage. All right? Because this is not the fucking forum for that. You want to talk about what's actually going on the screen, that's fine. You want to have some kind of theological discussion about Jesus and Judas, go fucking do that on some Christian forum somewhere. Because I'm the amazing atheist, not the amazing theological debate platform. All right, now back to what we're actually fucking doing.
Somebody's opinion, you listen to their opinion, and then you don't give your opinion.
Well, that's not what we're doing here.
So you said you wanted to interview them, not debate them.
The point of our show is to find middle ground.
So the funny part is, we told them we were going to push back and try to find middle ground. We always prime people. Yeah,
I would say that no, I I don't really feel like this guy is trying to find middle ground. I feel like he is doing what that other woman said he's doing, which is trying to make these people look like idiots. But here's the thing. They are idiots. They are idiots, and it's very easy to make them look like idiots with even the simplest of questions because there's no intellectual defense of the stuff they're saying. They can't actually mount a cogent defense to anything he's saying. They don't have anything to put forth. They don't have even like a line of sophistry they can put forth. All they really can do is just, display their ass for the world to see. So I think that is exactly what he's looking for. But I don't think there's any problem with that. I think showcasing just how ignorant these people are is a very valuable service to the world and American politics in general.
People and say that we're going to provide pushback.
We're going to ask you what issues are important to you. We're going to try to find a middle ground and push back.
Telling them your thoughts and your feelings on the issues you just asked.
Because it's America.
But that's a debate. That's not an interview. An interview is I want your information. They agreed to answer questions on their thoughts.
We're going to try to find a middle ground and push back.
So we were actually having a really good conversation about Pence and the implications of election fraud. It wasn't really a gotcha interview. I don't know if...
Well, I mean, like, you're debating them. I heard the Rudy Giuliani gotcha that you tried on.
What did I say? What was the Rudy Giuliani gotcha?
And you trust Rudy Giuliani for true information?
I mean, do you trust Rudy Giuliani?
I get my information, my education from lots of sources.
Yeah.
Lots of sources, such as, I don't know, the right-wing bubble I'm pretty much always saturated in. That's pretty much every source I got.
Do you want to talk to us?
I'm not going to debate you, but I'll answer some questions.
Was I being too heated or anything? I thought we were having
A little bit, yeah.
You were pushing back pretty hard.
Yeah.
Man, these people, on top of everything else, gigantic, blubbering fucking pussies. Like, they thought that was too heated. Like, they literally are so easily triggered by the slightest disagreement. These people, they live in a bubble. And if you try to inject anything in that bubble that doesn't belong, they start to seize upon it like white blood cells upon a virus. They cannot take disagreement. They cannot abide by disagreement. They cannot tolerate the least little bit of pushback to anything they're saying. And even if you just ask them a pointed question, even if you just try to get them to elucidate their worldview, like using the Socratic method, inquiring deeper and deeper as to how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? They can't handle it. They're little fucking pea brains that are just mushy and fucking atrophied, just can't take it. And they just go, oh, man.
That's what we're supposed to,
But
okay.
that's not what you told them you were going to do. You didn't say, hey, do you want to debate some issues with me? Do you guys want to?
I felt like I had a staunch liberal interviewing me.
You're the interviewer. You don't get to come at them in an interview with your biases and your opinions and throw that back
Well,
at
I'm
them.
the interviewer, so we can do it however we want to do. And when the point of our show is to find middle ground.
So I was asking these ladies questions in the most gentle way possible, just trying to...
Yeah, I mean, if they couldn't handle that, come on, whatever. Please, TJ, you're getting very heated. I know. I mean, there's nothing more to say about that. This kid's been pretty much shut down at this point. But shut down for no real reason because, the stuff that he was saying was... I mean, I don't know if I'd exactly say it was gentle, but it certainly was not any sort of crazy, in-your-face, confrontational interview style, right? We're the snowflakes, though, TJ. I know, it's crazy. It's just, hard to fathom how easily triggered those people are. How unwilling to engage with even very mild disagreement they are, to the point where they, if you just ask them, simple follow-up questions that any person should be able to answer about their beliefs, they completely fold like lawn chairs and, start crying about how it was too heated and we just felt like you were ganging up on us. Ugh. So anyway. Wasn't hostile, but he had an agenda. So fucking what, dipshit? Of course he had an agenda. Like, who gives a shit if he had an agenda or not? Who doesn't have an agenda? Like, what does that even matter or mean? He didn't go out there presenting himself as some sort of unbiased source. He told them from the very inception of the interview that he was going to push back, and it was going to, like, he kept saying, I'm going to push back, and we're going to try to find a middle ground. But I mean, I don't think he was, to be somewhat fair to your position, I don't think he was genuinely looking for a middle ground, but he did forewarn them that there would be pushback. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it matters that you have an agenda going into an interview, especially when it's such a mild agenda. I mean, like, when the agenda is expressed so mildly, like, what is the idea that a person interviewing you is supposed to just be, like, completely unbiased, and there's not supposed to be any pushback, and there's not supposed to be any follow-up questions, and there's not supposed to be any challenging questions? Like, what kind of retarded fucking brain-dead take is that? Like, how are you even here right now? How are you a person listening to me if you believe that horse shit? Like, give me a break, bro. Poor Spino. Yeah. Poor fucking Spino. Good point, Spino alt. That didn't show up until I fucking timed Spino out. Anyway. I feel like I'm maybe punching down here a little bit, but whatever. I don't care. There's a video called Atheists Suck at Logic. Let's take a look. And I'm really glad Spino's not around for this, because I would hate to have him in here defending this moron the whole time we're talking.
Hey friends, for the Raw with you here again. So I'm going to talk about
a boot
foolishness of atheistic thinking.
Uh-huh.
Now, in my observation,
is he like chewing gum or something? Can you spit the gum out for a second while you're recording a video?
both in life and in real life, in person, I mean. And on my online...
It's not gum, it's like a Jolly Rancher or something.
Engagement. I have never met one atheist that actually has a good argument against the existence of God.
All right, cool.
Or the Bible.
Good.
Not one. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, the reason for that is you're not actually considering the arguments being presented to you. You're just declaring that you don't like them because you have, like, the urge to post hoc justify your belief in a god or gods, probably the Christian God.
Yeah. Psalm 14:1 says, "The fool says in his heart there is no God."
Uh-huh.
Furthermore, Proverbs 1:7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom."
Mm-hmm.
But fools despise wisdom and instruction. Now,
would you spit out that fucking Jolly Rancher or whatever the hell it is? I cannot stand the sound of that fucking thing clacking against your goddamn teeth as you spout this generic religious horseshit at me. Well, did you know it says in the Bible that the Bible's right? Well, holy shit, it does? Wow. What a convincing fucking argument, my man. Now spit the fucking Jolly Rancher into the trash, or at least finish it before you start recording a goddamn video. Because I don't feel like listening to that shit clack against your goddamn teeth while you talk, motherfucker. Jesus.
guys like Steve McRae, Aaron Raw, Jeff Lauder.
Ugh. ugh. I don't like that fucking sound, dude. How do you guys feel about that fucking sound? I feel assaulted by this man's mouth sounds. Yeah, me too. I added mouth to that sentence, but yeah. I don't like that sound. I don't like listening to that. Oh, well, I guess I gotta get used to it.
Great, I think Jeff's a great guy, but they're fools. Now, I have a Webster dictionary. Webster dictionary in my hands. And according to the Webster dictionary, I don't know what year this is, but it doesn't really matter. But according to the dictionary...
What have you done to that fucking dictionary? Why does that dictionary look so fucking haggard, dude? Why are there pages fucking all, like, catty-cornered and, like, half torn out and, like, giant chunks of the book just, like, ripped out of the binding? And what have you been doing with that dictionary, man? Give that dictionary a break, bro.
Definition. A fool is one deficient in good sense or judgment. 2, a court jester. 3, one who can easily be tricked or duped. 1 is to dupe, or to take by surprise, to speak or act in jest, joke, to amuse oneself, to play, just fooling around. But okay, obviously, it's a bit of a difference between some of the definitions: fooling around, joking around, or someone who lacks sense or judgment.
Like a guy that makes a theological argument with a Jolly Rancher clacking against his fucking teeth the whole time, pulls out the most ragged-ass dictionary you've ever seen, and then fucking proceeds to read from it with the confidence of a 300-pound man walking across a patch of thin ice. And then points out that the multiple definitions are different than each other. Like, yeah, that's why there's multiples. If they were all the same, there wouldn't be multiples. There would just be one definition. That's the whole purpose of there being multiple definitions, to denote different ways the word could be used. We know that. Thank you for that information.
That's definitely what a fool is. Someone who lacks sense and judgment.
Okay.
So the Bible says, if you fear the Lord, and fear, by the way, doesn't mean to actually be afraid of him, but having...
Maybe it's just his accent, but it feels like he uses his mouth weirdly when speaking. He's sucking on some hard candy or something, so of course he's using his mouth weirdly. He's trying to talk and fucking suck on a goddamn Jolly Rancher at the same time, which is fine maybe in a one-on-one conversation where you just happen to already be sucking on a fucking Jolly Rancher, but who the hell decides, like, yeah, the time when I'm going to be recording my video for YouTube, that's when I need to fucking pop this Jolly Rancher in my fucking mouth. I've decided it's canonically a Jolly Rancher, by the way, until he says otherwise.
Having a healthy fear of God is having a healthy fear of God is healthy. Just that. Because, well, God is all powerful. So it's kind of wise to have a healthy sense of respect for someone who is all powerful. Secondly,
yeah, I mean, it would be if he existed, but he doesn't, so who gives a shit? It's like, oh man, run, the giant's coming. The giant from Jack and the Beanstalk is coming. It would make sense to run away at that moment if the giant was real, but it's not, so it doesn't make sense. If you say, like, yeah, there's an all-powerful God, okay, well, what's the evidence he exists? Well, this book says he does. Well, how do we know the book's accurate? Because the all-powerful man says it is. And we're right back to the typical Christian circular logic that doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
It talks about, so fear in terms of, like, knowing your position in relationship to your maker. Mm-hmm. Humility.
Uh-huh.
And then, but the second part of the verse says, "But what? Fool, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction."
Sure.
So if I look at men like Aaron Ra, Aaron is like probably the most hostile, arrogant, ignorant atheist I've ever spoken to. He was he was pretty good in our video chat, but that's probably because I knew if I'd pressed him hard, he would have gotten ragey, and even just saying like he took.
So wait, Aaron Ra actually wasted his time talking to this fuck? I would never. Man, I would never. Oh.
One thing out of context, like, wow! I'm thinking, well, if this guy's going to be this belligerent, just one little thing, how much more if I press him on things that he's much more.
So is this just like cope because you didn't go with Aaron Ra with the force you wanted to, so now you're like, well, the reason I didn't is because he would get so triggered and aggressive, and
off on about than whatever that was about. So anyways, the atheist is a fool. Now, if you're a fool, your thinking is going to be foolish, and your living will be foolish. Now, I'm not saying you can't do anything good in your life. Like, atheists can still just pretty well everyone of every worldview can work hard, raise a family, get married, have kids, pursue your passions and hobbies on the side, and build meaningful relationships, and be an exemplary member of your community. No, I'm not saying if you're.
Yeah, I don't want to do any of that. So, yeah, that sounds like shit to me.
Atheist,
yeah, this guy, man, I don't know. I've seen vacuum cleaners more charismatic than this motherfucker, and less annoying to listen to. I'd rather listen to a vacuum cleaner fucking sucking up pennies all day than listen to this motherfucker drone on, say nothing, clacking a goddamn hard candy against his teeth the whole goddamn time, putting my fucking nerves on edge. Like, what is the argument here? What's the point? Like, has he actually said anything? Like, the title of the video is Atheists Suck at Logic. Where is the fucking part where you make that argument? I would love for there to actually be something for me to sink my teeth into in this. We're 4 minutes in. You haven't said a goddamn thing. You've been completely fucking useless. The most you've accomplished is pissing me off with that fucking constant clacking noise against your fucking stupid teeth. So at this point, like, I don't know. Should I just fucking bail on this thing? Should I plow forth and try to see if he's going to make a freaking argument? I guess I will, at least for a bit. But man, I would love there to be something to this. I would love there to be some reason that I actually spent some of my time here today.
Of course, you can do all those things. But here's the question. What's the motivating you? Are you your own God? Like, are you just doing it to get a pat on the back? Are you doing it to maybe ease some sort of guilt or conviction? Is it some sort of virtue signaling? So even if we're doing the same things, the motivation for why we do things is very, very crucial and important. And the thing is, I have not met one atheist who actually has a good argument against God.
Where's your good arguments for him? If there was a God, I am convinced that he would not allow his people to be so acharismatic with his message. I am convinced that if there genuinely was a God, he would strike you dead for being such a boring fuck. He'd be like, no, I don't allow my followers to be so tedious. And he would send a lightning bolt down to turn you into an extra crispy piece of fried chicken that I could then eat.
Existing, or his character in the New Old Testament. Not even one. Now,
That's crazy, bro.
it is obviously the height of hubris as a creature to try to bring charges against your own maker. It'd be as stupid as I use this analogy when I was on last Thursday with brother Gary again, whose handle is at FTW_crosstalk. That's a
Who gives a shit? Who gives a fucking rat's ass about any of this? Where's the argument, bro? Is this like a game of fucking Where's Waldo? Where I gotta comb through this shit to find like something to actually respond to? Man, it'd be so dumb if you were to like criticize your own creator. First of all, no, it wouldn't. If your creator created you in a way that's fucked up and ass backwards, like, what if you were a being that fucking has to like shit out of your own mouth? You know, like you do. And you got to taste that shit as it comes up like, bleh. Oh, God, that's gross. Wouldn't you be justified in fucking turning to your creator and be like, what the fuck is up with that? Just because something created something doesn't mean, I mean, like, if anything, it gives you an insane amount of reasons to criticize. Like, who is more culpable for your shitty situation than the being that created you? If you were created, then literally everything that's wrong with you is that motherfucker's fault. It's like if you're driving a car and there is a defect in the car, then it's the fault of the fucking manufacturer. Right? Who is more culpable than that? Second of all, you've provided no evidence that this motherfucker that you have posited created anything or even exists. So we're kind of at a moot point here because all of your arguments thus far, the flimsy little flecks and slivers of arguments that you've actually made thus far, the tiny little splinters of arguments that you've put forth so far in this video all presuppose the existence of your God. You've not actually demonstrated it in any way. You've not even made an argument for it, even a bad one.
his Twitter handle. And, now where is he going with this?
Nowhere. A bullet train straight to fucking nowhere. Called the Dimwit Express.
Maybe it'll come back to me later. Right,
I hope it doesn't.
Again, that
all right.
Atheism basically sets you up to say things you know aren't true. And Aaron knows God exists. Steve McCrae knows God exists. Jeff Lauder knows that God exists. It's exactly as Paul Washer said about every single one of these men. There are no atheists. There's only men, only liars who deny God.
What? Why? Huh? What do you base that on? So every atheist is just a liar who's denying God. So that means that God is so self-evident that we have to like try to suppress the knowledge of him. All right. Well, in what way is he self-evident? How do we know that God exists? How do I, as an atheist, know in my heart of hearts that God exists? Is this one of these things where it's just like, it's just imprinted on my heart and I must deny it? Is it that? Well, if so, how do you explain all the people who are not atheists but believe in a different God? How do you explain Muslims and Buddhists and all those people? Are all of them just denying God in their own ways? What about Christians who believe in your God but think slightly different attributes about him? Because different denominations of Christianity have different beliefs about God. So is it only you? At the end of the day, is only your God real? That's what I want to know, because even when it comes down to the individual parishioners in a church, every single one of them has a different understanding about what God is. So at the end of the day, when you talk about God, you're really only talking about your God. So you are so egomaniacal as you sit here and talk about humility and you talk about the hubris of other people, you come to me with the hubris of a man who thinks that his own personal God is the one true God, and everyone else that denies it is a fucking liar. Fuck you. Eat shit, motherfucker. I hope you choke on that goddamn Jolly Rancher, you fucking subhuman piece of goddamn worthless trash. Done with this guy. Useless to me. What a twat. What a dumb, megalomaniacal, conceited, evil twat. Off subject, does TJ have contacts in? Eyes look different. Nope, just shave my eyebrows. Same eyes as always. Whoever recommended that should be reprimanded. I don't know. That was terrible, man. That guy triggered the fucking shit out of me. He wore me down with his clacking. And then the conceit of telling me what I know when he is just a worshiper of the eye god. Not even some sort of external proof of this God. Just, well, I feel there's a God. So anyone who doesn't feel that, or anyone who claims not to feel it, is a liar trying to deceive. That guy sucked ass. Good at self-deception, but not really great at any other form. Anyway, we have another Christian to look at. Hopefully this one will be a little bit smarter. Maybe actually put forth some kind of argumentation. That might be nice. So here we go. This single-handedly proves atheism is a fraud. Let's find out what he's talking about.
Most atheists hold to some form of biological evolution. Many Big Bang models would assert that the universe is billions of years old and that all came together from one singularity, after which it started evolving.
I think I found the one person on Earth with a worse haircut than me. So that's cool. Feel a little better about myself. That's good.
Over time, I will be logically proving why this cannot be the case. And I will also be providing reasons why that even though there's enough evidence that God exists, people still reject him anyway. Firstly, claiming that the universe came from a singularity is illogical, since a singularity can create nothing at all, since it is a singularity and is not intelligent.
So only intelligent things can create something? I mean, we can see just in the limited confines of the world we live in that that's not true. Like, we can see that a river over time can carve out a canyon. It doesn't need to, that doesn't mean the river needs intelligence to do that. So, I mean, what? It doesn't take an intelligent, once again, you are presupposing that it takes an intelligence to create the universe. Yes, if you decide arbitrarily, for no actual reason, that the only thing that could create this universe is an intelligence, then you almost have to arrive at the God conclusion, right? Or at least some form of it. You still would have no idea what the attributes of that God were, But if you believe that there is an intelligence that created the universe, because there has to be, because only an intelligence could do it, but you have no reason to believe that. There is no reason to believe that this universe was created by an intelligence. There is no reason to believe that this could not have arisen over time through natural processes.
This singularity would also have to be infinite if it was what was in the beginning, which is much less logical than saying God is infinite. If you...
Why? So why again? Like, there's just so much presupposition baked into this. Why would the singularity need to be infinite? There's no reason it needs to be infinite. Even if it was, why would it make more sense for there to be an infinite God than for there to be an infinite singularity? Like, all of this stuff is just thrown out there as if it makes sense, as if we're just supposed to nod our, oh yeah, Like, this is not designed to convince anybody. You realize that? What's being said here is nothing that is designed or intended to make me, an atheist and a skeptic, go, he's on to something. None of it's intended to do that. This is 100% something that is designed to bolster the views of uncritical Christians who already believe it, so that they can go, oh, wow, yeah, there actually is a scientific basis for my beliefs. No, there's not. You cannot bake in 101 presuppositions in an argument that are unaddressed and unaccounted for and then be like, see? Excuse me. And then be like, see, we did it. Holy shit. Aren't we amazing? Yeah, amazingly delusional.
Claim that this singularity is intelligent, then you would not be an atheist, because this singularity would be your higher power. But if
I don't need to claim it's intelligent because it doesn't require intelligence.
You claim that it is not, then you would be saying that something that created everything was unintelligent. Now,
yes, that's fine. I'm comfortable with that.
With all that put together, this is why if you claim a singularity created the universe and you still want to be an atheist, then you would have to claim that everything came from nothing, since this singularity, if it were infinite and intelligent, would be a god. The problem...
No. So read Lawrence Krauss's book, A Universe from Nothing, or if you're illiterate, just watch his 1 hour presentation about it on YouTube. He talks extensively about the concept of a universe coming from nothing. I mean, the thing is, even if you were to go with the ridiculous God hypothesis, you would still have to account for where God came from. And if you say God just always existed, well, then why couldn't a singularity just always exist? Why couldn't some other thing always exist? It's like everything has to have a cause except God. And why does God get the exemption? Because they just need him to have it. They've decided to grant God this exemption clause to all of their own logic based on nothing more than the fact that they need to give it to him for the stuff they're saying to make any sort of internal sense. And it still doesn't, by the way. Even with them able to make up everything they're saying whole cloth, they still don't ever manage to actually arrive at something that's sensible, that's actually reflected within reality.
With the universe being created by nothing, however, is that if the universe came from nothing, why do we have such order? Asserting that nothing could create everything that we see around us also goes against the law of conservation of mass, which claims that matter is not created or destroyed. Evolution is so often deemed scientific, but it actually goes against the own scientific principles that have been gathered by people throughout time.
Well, you know, obviously, who am I going to trust when it comes to interpreting science, right? A bunch of scientists who have devoted their lives to the study of it, or some guy that obviously is a sophist using a tenuous knowledge of science in order to bolster theological claims. I mean, who are you going to trust, right? I'm not trying to make an argument from authority here, but at the end of the day, the people who are experts in a discipline are experts in a discipline, and the people who aren't. So I think they can speak with more authority on the subject. The fact that we have so many, I mean, like, there are no biologists working today that deny evolution. There is no one working in the field of biology that denies evolution. Now, there might be some academic disagreement about specifically how the mechanisms of evolution function, what sort of time period is required for this or that thing to happen, how specific features may have evolved, whether species evolve individually or through group selection, stuff like that. There might be some sporting academic debate about the specifics, but there's no real denialism that evolution is occurring. There's no real denialism of the Big Bang or the current cosmological model. Now, if new evidence is to come to light someday that sheds doubt on those things, then science will adapt. Science will adjust. That's the strength of science. What's considered true today is really not necessarily the truth. It's just our best understanding of the truth based on the available evidence. And if the available evidence changes and new evidence comes to light, then our best understanding of that evidence also changes, right? Like how we went from having a Newtonian theory of gravity to now in the quantum realm, we don't understand gravity. We do not yet have a unified, like, quantum theory of gravity. So science is always adapting. Science is always changing. I'm not claiming, by the way, to be some sort of great scientist or some great understander of science, but I believe I have a pretty reasonable understanding of what's being said scientifically, what scientists do, what the scientific process is. And I can tell you that there's a reason why a huge percentage of scientists, not all scientists, but the huge percentage of scientists deny religion, because they have seen that everything that's going on in our universe right now can be accounted for secularly without the need to invoke some sort of magical entity.
Another common objection is people say, well, doesn't God have to have a creator? And he doesn't, because this is why.
Okay. I'm ready. Tell me why. Tell me why God is the lone exemption. Tell me why everything has to be created by an intelligence except for the most biggest, vast intelligence that ever was.
Space and matter were all created, and there has to be something beyond time, space, and matter to create all things in the first place. Now,
why? Citation fucking needed, bro. Why? Based on what? And why would the thing that is beyond space and time and matter be a fully formed consciousness with thoughts and feelings and ideas and a form and powers, magical powers? Why would the one thing that's always existed be that? Do you have a good explanation for that?
Christian would say that the original first beginning, the start of everything, and the beginning and the end would be God.
By the way, doesn't the Bible refute this in like the first fucking sentence? Isn't the beginning of the Bible, in the beginning there was nothing and then there was God? It's not in the beginning there was God, is it? Hold on. Genesis 1:1, right? In the beginning, hold on, here we go. All right, I was wrong. It just says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So that's how we just start with this character. Boom. He's just there. Cool. So I guess it's not really refuted. It is supported by the fucking verse. But where'd he come from? How is he a fully formed being? How is he a fully formed consciousness? How does he have powers? What is his superhero origin story? He doesn't need one. And what was he doing before that? Before he created the heavens and the earth, what the fuck was he up to? Was he just kind of there, chilling, bored for infinity? Or did he pretty much start right away? And if he started right away, and you guys think the universe is 6,000 years old, does that mean God is only 6,000 years old? Well, no, you say he's infinite. So God waited all of infinity, just kind of floating around, until one day he got a wild hair up his ass, like, you know what I'll do? Create some stuff. Like, how does that work exactly?
But an atheist would have to default to nothing being the beginning and the end. In fact, there is enough evidence to prove that God has to exist and evolution cannot be true. But the reason is this, for why people do not believe in him. John 3.
Well, no. I mean, you've said nothing to actually debunk evolution, right? You know that. I mean, the only thing you could do is engage in some absolute Christian sophistry. But, like, the amount of evidence that exists to support the theory of evolution is freaking insane. It is, because it's been one of the most argued about and contentious branches of science ever. So the scientists that study that discipline have made sure that all of the evidence is fully available to anyone who wants to go look for it. Fossil record, DNA record, all this stuff. And it's been a while since I've had to argue with one of you evolution deniers. I kind of felt like maybe you were sort of a waning breed of this stuff. But there is a tremendous preponderance of evidence that evolution happened. And I mean, we can even see that right down to like the like DNA that exists between, like, we can see that every living thing on this planet is related to one another. We can trace that genealogy back. We can see different transitional forms as life forms changed and adapted over time. So I don't know how you could just be like, well, no, it didn't happen, and not present anything to that effect. Just say like, well, you know, God exists and the Bible has a different account, so that's not how it went.
20 says, "For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his works should be exposed."
Here we go, look. You think I don't like the light? Look at it. Whoa. I love it. I fucking love it, bro. Look how much I love the fucking light, man. Oh, I think it's great. I'm a big fan of the light. Keeps my pretty face all lit up and stuff so you can see me.
People are naturally inclined to make up their own image of God in their minds or deny him completely because of the bad things that they do. The reason why we hate God is the same reason why a burglar might hate a police officer. They've done something wrong and they don't want to get caught.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Because the Bible basically says, no matter what you've done or how evil of a piece of shit you are, you can get into paradise just by being like, well, I love Jesus. So you killed 172 people, huh? Yeah, but, you know, I've accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I've taken him into my heart, and I'm a changed man now. So a burglar hating God for the same reason he hates a cop doesn't really make sense. A burglar is not... God is not a cop to the burglar. God is like a slick defense attorney that's going to get you off on all the charges. So that burglar has tremendous incentive to love God. Because the whole shtick of the fucking Bible is, no matter what, all human beings are pieces of shit. Everyone is garbage. Everyone's a sinner. Everyone's trash. But if you accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, and go, you'll go to heaven. So how does that make sense? If if it was just the Old Testament God we're talking about, then what you're saying would maybe hold some water. But since we have the whole New Testament thing and the standard of entry into paradise being accept Jesus into your heart and that being it, and he died for your sins and blah, 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 what you're saying makes zero sense. Because God is not looking to punish you according to you guys. God is looking to forgive you for all the stuff you've done wrong, because guess what? No matter how bad you are, everyone else is a giant piece of shit too. That's what the Bible teaches.
Even though it's completely logical for God to exist, people do not want the moral accountability that comes with believing in him. This might seem far-fetched, especially to my atheists out there. But
it doesn't seem far-fetched. It just seems stupid and wrong and like contrary to the theology that's been preached for the last fucking few centuries.
Let me prove that the reason is because people hate God. We can also intuitively know that God is serious about sin by the fact that people die. Here's why. The Bible says in Romans 1:20, "For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." It also says in Romans 6:23 that...
So, did that mean something to anybody? Didn't mean much to me.
The wages of sin is death. It very quickly...
But everything dies. So, I mean, like, is everything sinful? Bacteria, they die. Sinful? Are they sinful little bacterias? Every living thing dies. So the wages of sin is not death. Death is just the wages of life.
I would also like to address a common argument that people say against Christians that use the Bible to prove the Bible. I am proving the Bible with the Bible as much as you could prove that the president lives in the White House by looking inside the White House. You can see that the Bible's true about what it says about itself because it actually says things that we can look at outside the world and see if the world attests to the Bible.
And when we do, we see that the Bible is totally false, by the way. I mean, I haven't used the resource in quite some time because I haven't been hardcore doing the atheist thing in a while, but I'm sure Skeptic's Annotated Bible is still in operation. And if you want to look at the sheer amount of absurdity, sexism, barbarity, cruelty, insanity that's in the Bible, just visit Skeptic's Annotated Bible. And, and contradictions and scientific inaccuracies and historical inaccuracies, all kinds of horrible stuff's in that book. The Bible is not remotely true. It contradicts itself. It contradicts reality. It's clearly not any sort of divinely inspired word of God. If it were, it would contain knowledge that primitive human beings simply could not have access to. It would understand the, mechanisms of the universe. It would probably contain some sort of advanced mathematical equations that human beings could never have conceived of at the time. It doesn't contain any of that. It contains a lot of fucking mythological and poetic stories, just like every other form of mythology.
Many atheists actually use the existence of death as a reason why God cannot be good or righteous. However, they use this argument because they do not understand that they are guilty against God and how serious God takes sin. The other religions of the world, other than Christianity, do not have answers for death that are coherent, that are logical, that make sense.
We don't need an answer for death. Death is not some kind of fucking mystery at this point. The body breaks down over time, and eventually something's going to happen where it's going to break down entirely. You're going to get cancer and die. You're going to get a brain tumor and die. Someone's going to shoot you in the face and you're going to die. Or if nothing else gets you, you will just flat out get so goddamn old that your body is just like, well, I quit. Bleh. There's no, where is the fucking mystery here? Every living thing dies. Every living thing on a long enough time scale will wear down to the point where it will die. Even non-living things are going to die. Like, the computer on my desk is not going to run forever. Eventually, it will break down somehow. Everything will. The camera I'm recording this on, the light bulb there, the microphone here, all of it is one day going to go kaput. Because nothing is built so well that it will last forever. including human beings.
Because why would God allow bad things to happen to good people? But the better question is, why does God allow good things to happen to bad people? Because we've sinned against him. And the answer is, he has amazing grace and mercy and steadfast love that we don't see because we think we deserve no harm done to us because we think we're good. The Bible also claims this. It says most men proclaim their own goodness. And when people say that they're good people or they like to assert their own...
Right, we know how Christianity views this. This is exactly what I said earlier. We're all reprobates, we're all wretches, we're all horrible sinners, and the only way that we can be saved is through Jesus Christ, which is exactly why the analogy that you made earlier about God as the cop doesn't make sense. Because God's not the cop. God is the slick defense lawyer that's going to get you off the charges and make sure you get into heaven anyway. So that's enough of this guy. He didn't enrage me as much as the last dude, but he was still pretty goddamned annoying, to be frank with you. And now we have some crazy folk. You guys ready for some crazy fucks? I'm ready for some crazy fucking people. Let's do this. Crazy fuck number 1.
So you better pray to God. And I mean this literally. Or
all right. Dear God, please make your dumb followers go away. It's time for the rapture, God. I'm ready for you to take them up to heaven and leave the rest of us alone. Thank you. Amen.
Whatever the fuck it is you pray to.
Okay.
Okay? That Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and Attorney General Barr clean this up.
No, he's not. He's not the President of the United States. He hasn't been the President of the United States for a hot minute.
Awfully. Because if for any reason the President of the United States feels that it's not getting done the way it should and decides to put out the tweet that says, my fellow Americans, my fellow 2A loving Americans, it's time to take up arms against these assholes, you are all fucked in under an hour. Under 1 hour, you're done. Every one of you. We're all just at home, hanging out, or we're on vacation like me right now, watching you idiots behave the way you do, waiting for that one tweet, that one emergency text message from the fucking President of the United States that gives us the green light to finish this entire thing in under an hour.
Dude, this guy is so goddamn delusional, dude. So this guy thinks, maybe this is from before. Maybe this is old and this is when Trump was still actually president, or maybe this is one of these nuts that just think Trump is still president. I don't know. But this guy thinks that if Donald Trump tweeted, all right, the time has come, kill the Democrats, that these people would be on the street with their guns and just wipe us out in an hour. Which means that he believes that, first of all, no one who is a Democrat owns a gun. No one who is a leftist owns a gun, which is a completely false assumption. Third of all, how is this guy going to know where the Democrats are? Does this guy know which houses on his block are Democrat houses and which houses are Republican houses? He's just going to figure it out. Eeny, me, I know that guy is a Democrat. I seen him walking his dog, and it's a little foo-foo sissy dog. Gotta be some kind of Democrat. He'll be the first to die. Not only that, a dude just sitting there in his little chintzy-ass vacation spot. Looks like it's in, like, Gulf Shores, Alabama, or somewhere down in the Florida Keys or something, with a net on the wall. Sitting here, not enjoying his vacation, not actually chilling and relaxing, not fucking a chick, not drinking a Mai Tai on the beach, not taking in a local show, not doing some shopping, not doing some hunting, not doing some fishing, none of that. This dude is sitting around jerking off to the idea that one day Donald Trump is going to give him permission to go shoot his fellow Americans. That's this guy's idea of a good time on vacation. Just like, man, I sure do wish Donald Trump would give me the go ahead to shoot some people because we'd have this country taken. Like, dude, you are the biggest sack of shit on the face of the earth. It's so hard for me to even take you remotely seriously, even though I know I probably should, even though I know part of me should like revile you for being such a hate-filled piece of monstrous evil shit. I honestly can't because you're just too fucking funny to me. Anyway, let's hear the rest.
Law enforcement. It will not be one of these slow, bureaucratic justice system wheels of justice turning. It'll be a group of people you didn't even know fucking existed because we were at our houses, we got off work, we were with our families, but we were ready for that call. And if that call ever does come, you will be fucked 7 ways from Sunday.
Well, I'm shaking in my boots, man. I hope that call never comes, because surely you and your army of... All right, here we go. Here's another one. Crazy person number 2.
Video of an elementary school teacher who openly worshiped Satan and dabbled in witchcraft. And while her students were sitting at their desks during their quiet time and while she was sitting at her desk, she essentially would try to pierce them with spiritual darts of all things darkness in that world.
You following this so far, folks? So there's a teacher, openly Satanist, openly Wiccan, I guess. And during quiet time, she would just throw her spiritual darts of evil at the kids, you know? I don't know. Are these actual darts? Is this like a physical dart that she's just like, eh? Or is it like a mental psychic dart? I don't know. Trying to figure that one out. Well, maybe some context clues will arise.
One thing that she said was she could tell which kids had parents that were praying over them or kids that were praying because those kids were surrounded with a ring of fire that she could not penetrate with anything she was trying to get through to them. And that
All right. So here's the plot. Satanist Wiccan teacher shooting her magic evil darts at kids. But the teacher did say this. The kids who, had families that prayed were surrounded by a ring of fire. And when the darts would fly towards those kids, they would just disintegrate because, of course, Satan's meager might is no match for the power of God. Okay.
That ring of fire is the blood of Jesus that covers them. And while that's scary to think about, it's so encouraging to know that as a parent...
It's not really scary to think about so much as it's insipid bullshit. But, whatever.
Our prayers
little
are
a
that
column A and little a column B, I guess.
Powerful, and they cover our kids. And we have all power and all authority through Jesus and through the blood of Jesus to pray that and to plead that over our kids to where no darkness can...
So where does this teacher work, and where did she say this, and how do you know all this? Like, where did this story come from? You have personal experience with this? Can we see some of the darts that she was throwing at the kids, and can we maybe watch a few of them disintegrate, or is it more like a spiritual thing, or how's that work exactly? Let me know.
Touch them. So I wanted to encourage all parents with that today, that your prayers matter so much, and even when you don't feel like it or when you don't feel like you're doing enough, your prayers are powerful and they cover them, and they are what make your kids untouchable.
Thank God my prayers are keeping my kids safe from satanic Wiccan teachers and their magic missiles. All right, crazy person number 3. This chick is real distraught, too. I'll warn you, trigger warning for extreme distraughtness.
To the Christians, do not be deceived. Stop thinking that everybody who waves a flag and shouts...
Well, if Christians stopped being deceived, they couldn't really be Christians anymore, could they? That's the real problem with that one.
Freedom is your friend and a good person because we have people like this trying to join up in the movements. I found this out the hard way.
Poor lady.
Found it out the hard way.
Yeah, you shed them crocodile tears, girl. I found it
out the hard way, you know.
Not everybody is in things for the same reasons you are.
Yeah. This chick, after all this time, has finally figured out that different people have different motivations in doing things. What a revelation. It's going to change her whole world.
I was in the People's Convoy, and what a fucking disappointment that ended up being.
Yeah, I agree. It was a disappointment.
What a disappointment.
Yeah.
To find out that these people that you were with, they weren't like you. They didn't care about the country. They were a bunch of grifting motherfucking live streamers that wanted to make money.
Oh, sweetie pie. Yeah. That was a revelation for you, huh? A little slow on the old uptake, but she gets there eventually. Good for her.
Off of the people in America who were hardworking and sending their money, little old ladies, old men, people.
Wow. You're getting close. You're getting close to the truth behind the whole thing. You're getting so close. You're like this far away. Almost there.
Who had to wait for their paychecks so they could give a little bit of money to help people drive around and shout freedom and fight for freedom. And to find out that it was really for nothing. To find out that the people involved, a lot of the people involved that are involved in this convoy right here were really bad people.
I'm shocked. You guys, I'm shocked. I always thought the Freedom Convoy was full of good, upstanding people. But apparently no. Apparently there was a lot of bad people in the fucking pro-Trump Freedom Convoy. Came right the fuck out of left field, man. You know?
They were bad people.
Wow.
Who did not care about the causes that they joined. They used them for their own
Benefit?
profit.
Okay. That works too.
How sad is that?
I mean, it would be a lot sadder to me if it weren't so fucking old hat. I mean, I guess I'm glad that you're starting to see through the facade. Now do Trump. Now look at the big fucking kahuna and realize, like, him fucking too. He's full of shit. He too is a grifter. He too is a liar. He too is a snake. Get there, bitch. Text me when you're there.
When there's people who really, really fucking care. There's people who really sacrifice for the causes.
Yeah, but the causes are all stupid, backwards horse shit. So honestly, I don't care. You know, whatever. Whether they're there to grift or they're true believers like your dumbass, they're all fucking pieces of shit in my eyes. Because the causes that they were there to fight for are also evil shit. So call me when you're not just aware of the grifters in your midst, but call me when you're aware of the problems with the true believers as well. Then maybe we could fucking figure something out.
They sacrifice for the causes.
Fuck the
For
causes.
real. It's in their hearts.
Fuck their hearts.
And
Fuck
these kinds
you.
of motherfuckers come.
Yeah, you know what? I don't feel any sympathy for this fucking bitch. I'm glad she got taken advantage of, and I'm glad that she fucking has been disabused of the notion of the fucking moral purity of these fucking cocksuckers. But at the end of the day, you know, she's there with the fucking Freedom Caravan, which is about pretty much everything under the sun but freedom. Or Freedom Convoy, sorry. So, I don't care. She's still a piece of shit. And the fact that she's a heartbroken piece of shit just makes me happy. Anyway, that's Abandon Hope. I don't have anything else, so I'll just kind of talk to the chat for a while, and we'll wrap it up that way. Hope you guys enjoy those little sections I did. I know I liked the fucking guy clacking the stupid fucking thing against his teeth. That was my favorite. Poor Karen. She realized it was all a big old grift. Can't trust the Freedom Convoy. Who can you trust? What was the Freedom Convoy about? Here. Actually, it kind of depends on which one you're talking about. I'm so confused what she scammed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what her fucking problem was. I mean, we didn't get to see what the catalyst was that drove her to it. TJ, are you picking nose actually Alzheimer's? Yeah, that's crazy, man. Anyway, time out. See you in 24 hours. Who knows? I mean, the reality is that as she's sitting there talking about, she probably just fucking got into a fight with some other bitch at the fucking convoy. And then, you know, other people took that other chick's side, probably because she's more attractive. And then, you know, and that's all that really happened. It's probably not some sort of actual great revelation. Titty juice. Titty juice. Titty juice. How many convoys now? I don't know. The main Freedom Convoy that I remember was like a bunch of like pro-Trump Canadians that were like protesting COVID measures and shit. If I'm remembering correctly. But there have been a bunch of other of these freedom convoys. There have been ones that have gone down to the border. I think there's actually some that are on their way to the border right now and or have been camped out at the border. So she could be with one of those. I don't know which convoy, freedom convoy she's talking about. But they're pretty much all like Trumpy. So I don't give a shit. TJ, do you think our greatest pursuit is to eventually determine the origins of reality? No. I think our greatest pursuit is maximizing the pursuit of happiness and gratification in all human beings. Is there a show this Friday? Nope. Booty blast, Paul, now. I would have to do quite a bit of driving before I could do that. I don't really feel like I don't feel like driving for the next 3 days. Am I excited for crawfish season? No. First of all, I don't really live in a crawfish area anymore, and second of all, even when I did, I never cared for them. So, no. Just send the blast through snail mail. All right, I will. TJ, please release the recordings of the merch tier streams for us broke patrons. I mean, well, it wouldn't really be much of a perk for the merch tier if it was for everybody else, right? Booty blast Spino. Spino is gone for 24 hours. He was fucking... I was trying to do a story about two dumb MAGA chicks, and he kept yammering about Judas and shit. Because that moron that I finally just kicked out, what's his name? I can't remember. Frosty Chicken or whatever the fuck. Brought up Judas. And so Spino, of course, starts having a field day talking about Judas and theology and shit. And I'm like, This is not the time or the place. Like, shut up. And I'm glad he got kicked out early because there's been so many religious stories since then. I've had to talk a bunch of shit about these Christian fucks. So. Is the Dave Rubin thing releasing for other patrons anytime soon? Yeah, I believe that will be released for others. I don't know the timetable on that, but I know that it will be coming out for other patrons. Judas Priest. I like Judas Priest. Merch tier hype. TG, there better be a drawing of a huge cock on my poster. I know that Paul drew some small cocks on a few posters. I didn't see any huge cocks, but I guess you can just imagine that it's huge. You know. But, you know, I don't know. He only drew the cocks on a few, so. That Spino is a dashing rogue. Yeah, I'm sure that Spyro is not. It's not even Spyro, it's Spyrio. I'm sure that's not you, Spino. I'm sure that's a completely new person that I've never met before. Why doesn't Paul like it when I send you lewd art? I have no idea. I don't think he actually cares. I think he's just making fun of the fact that you're advertising it in the chat all the time. I sent you more lewd art. But really, most of the time, it's just like another draft of the one you've already sent me, so. Limited edition cock poster, crossing my fingers. I mean, you know, who knows? Who knows what sort of pieces of merch are waiting in the wings? You know, it could very well be. Oh my God, I was cracking up when Paul said that. Well, that's probably why he said it. He's just like trying to make you laugh, you know? Trying to be an entertainer or something. That's what I hear. Location of the next meetup? I'm not sure yet. We definitely should start planning some stuff. I think we should plan a few in advance, personally. But I'll bring that up with the guys next time I see them, because I want there to be at least a couple of them this year. Have a little fun. I think maybe do the two coasts, do something West Coast, something East Coast, maybe. Might be nice. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Thank you guys for joining me for this Abandoned Hope. I'll give you a longer one next time. But this week I was a little bedraggled. But hopefully next time around I'll be a little bit more up. A little more energetic and stuff. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Fuck off. Goodbye.